Oh, Captain, my Captain. Oh, dear, what a week. And golf balls? We talking golf balls? Let's get right into it. Welcome to the Tavern. Cheers, boys. You're both on mute because, Dave, you were talking in the background there, so I had to take you off. When I was talking,
I should be on mute anyway.
It doesn't put you on mute automatically.
I mean, yeah.
That's a beverage.
Yeah.
That is a beverage. How's everybody doing this week?
Good. How's your weekend?
Good week.
Well, I'm going to ask Dave. Dave, you went somewhere this week.
I did. It's right up here above my head. Right there. Will and I went and hung out at John Deere on Friday. Walked around up there. It's the first time he's been to a PGA event.
Oh, nice.
So, course was in phenomenal shape. Just being out there. That was really, really cool to see. Will really he's rocking. Hey, Will, come back here. Yeah, Will's rocking his John Deere hat that he picked up out there.
Nice.
Will also picked up his first golf flag to start adding to his own collection. So my wife is kind of concerned about that. And other than that, yeah, it was just Will put the club down. Yeah.
She should be concerned in general. We'll leave it at that.
So we walked for the parking. It drops you off between the 8 green and the 9 tee box. So that was a really, really cool place to be dropped off and come in. So we walked 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 18, 17, 16, and 15. So,
nice.
And 10 and 11. So, yeah.
Cut across the fairway on 16, 18, 17.
Yeah. So
nice.
we had a really good time out there.
How was the atmosphere?
So kudos to everybody at John Deere. Especially the first tee people out there for setting up stuff in the fan zone that the kids could have fun with. So it was a really good time.
What was the atmosphere like? Was it kid friendly? It sounds like it was
super kid. If your kid likes tractors, the John Deere Classic is the place to go.
I should have brought Allie. We should have joined you.
Yeah. If you haven't seen our Instagram or my Instagram, go check that out. And Will was just as excited about all the John Deere equipment that was there. Real concession stands everywhere. Even ice cream, just standalone whitey ice cream stands out there for the kids to get things, and bleachers galore out there, places to sit pretty much everywhere. I think one of the coolest thing is the John Deere tractor seats that they turned into benches that are spread out around the course there. So that was really cool too.
Nice. Steve, how was your weekend?
I played golf Saturday and Sunday, so it was a good holiday weekend. The Red Sox beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. We'll take that too.
Shut your mouth.
Sorry. We've won.
Hey, the Yankees have won like 4 and lost 14 in the month of June and July. So
you've lost 5 straight series to the Red Sox.
It's been pretty bad.
No, I went out and played Claremont National up here, which, if you're familiar with Central Florida, used to be called Sanctuary Ridge, and before that it was called Diamond Players Club Claremont. And I have to tell you,
for a golf course,
right? You know why
Diamond Players Club?
Because you know why it was called that?
Because the strip club.
No,
sounds like
it does. It was owned by a bunch of former MLB players.
Ah, okay.
So that's why it's called Diamond Players
Club.
Club.
About that.
So, the golf course, they've done a lot out there. They've got a really cool area called The View. Cool vibe, food, beverage. They've got a top tracer range in there for their driving range, and the golf shop is They redid the entire golf course. It was closed for quite a while, and they came in and redid the golf course. And I will tell you, it is green complexes are a little different, a lot more difficult, and it's a lot of fun to play. So it's finally a golf course in Florida that has some elevation, not just that flat, hit it and see where it goes. So, but yeah, I know it was a good weekend. And
middle of July, you could put it off the tee box on a par 5 and get a 300-yard roll.
Hey, hold on. Tom from Grey Dog Golf, one of our former guests, wants to know about World Series titles. Tom, how many since 2000? And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to talk about
Tom. That's his only argument. It doesn't matter. It doesn't when you have as many as you do. So,
well, the Celtics have how many?
Hey, at least the Yankees, when they won their one World Series title in this century, they at least beat a real team.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into first rounds. We got some fun topics tonight. Oh, Captain, my Captain. We got a new Ryder Cup. There we go, Dave. We got our Ryder Cup hats on.
There was some text between us yesterday as we found out that the announcement was coming today and that Tiger Woods, who was expected to be named captain, had turned it down. And
which that doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me. There's so much going on with the PGA Tour, and you can talk about the amount of free time, especially Tiger has when he's only played, 5 events this year. He's playing 5 events this year. There's too much going on for him that I think that this was a smart move to turn it down. And then the name came out that Keegan Bradley was going to be named Ryder Cup captain.
When you said that, Steve, and you leaked that, I was actually happy that was a rumor that was out there because that was not a name on any of our lists.
No. I mean, do I want to pull up the phone and go over the list?
Sorry we didn't pick you last year. Here, have a captaincy.
There's a lot to be said for that comment, David, and that wasn't good in the team room, wasn't going to fit in, was the quote from Fred Couples. And now you're going to make him captain? Is this Freddie just throwing smoke signals like he did when he said that Cam Young was going to be on the team and then they weren't even close to picking Cam Young?
I think this is them saying to Keegan, hey, you didn't get picked. You should have gotten picked. You handled it with grace. Better than anyone I would have seen. And I think the full swing, that episode where you see Keegan watching it with his family, rooting on the team, doing all of that.
Yes.
I think the PGA watched that and said, there's our next captain. If it's not Tiger,
I also think
he's gonna bring it home and he can finally unpack his bag.
Yeah.
He and Tiger are close. And I have a funny feeling that Tiger may have pushed him over the edge.
Oh, I do. I believe that too. I believe Tiger had something to do with this. I think they needed a change. This was becoming an old man's club of it follows this pattern, and that doesn't work.
But after Watson's captaincy, that's what they went to. You had to be an assistant captain. Those were the rules came up by the task force after Watson, the train wreck that Watson had. And I'll give Phil credit for this. Phil pointed a lot of it out starting when they were in Europe before they came back, calling out Tom Watson. That was I get that. That was in France, right? And they said we've got to have a pecking order. We've got to have because that's what Europe had. Europe has guys waiting in the wings, and they make them all assistant captains so that they know what they're doing to become captains. And they kind of modeled that same idea of, when you look at Paul McGinley and one of the nicest dudes on the planet, but Paul McGinley didn't really have the resume outside of playing on a couple winning Ryder Cup teams to really be a great Ryder Cup captain, and he was an amazing Ryder Cup captain.
But that's what you need in a captain. You need someone
and here's the thing, I think with Keegan and the captain, he's 38. He's got his pulse. And not saying that Zach Johnson didn't, because Zach's still out there playing a whole bunch of events. But he's contended. He won last year. He's out there playing with these guys more so than, say, DL3 or Tom Lehman or, Couples. As great as they are, Keegan's got his pulse on everything. And I think with whether he's still got the friendship with Phil, or not, because the two of them played a lot together in their Ryder Cup. He may have a pulse on Bryson and Brooks and everything else that's going on with Liv, because he's in that same age bracket as those guys. And I think it's a smart play. He may have wanted to be on the next year's Ryder Cup, but him being captain brings a pulse back into the PGA where he's got his finger on the button, knows who's hot, knows what's going on, and is out there playing week in and week out.
Well, I think
the question that I have
is, hold on, Steve, hold on.
Yeah,
I think that the big thing with Keegan is that I see is what I talked about with Rory and Bryson at the U.S. Open. He has this drive and wanting to win the Ryder Cup. And I don't feel any captain in the past few years for the Team USA has had that. They are just trying to be methodical. They're trying to think things through, but they didn't have that drive to win and fight and push people and pick the right team. Where I give credit to Zach Johnson. I don't think Zach Johnson did a terrible job last year, but I think he made some bad choices on who he picked based on friendships, based on things like that. Not
KT. Oh, excuse me.
Who was the hot hand?
Sam Burns.
And who had the drive at that time. And I think that's what I hope Keegan looks at, because he was in that situation, and he's going to look at outside of, I might be in the top 12 or 15 to 20, but I need someone who really is going to play well and has the fire at that time. Because look at Victor Hovland this year compared to last year going into the Ryder Cup. He doesn't have that same drive that he did going into the Ryder Cup. And you see it in their play at that time. So you got to look at the time, and I think he'll do that.
I think the one I see a couple things. One, surprised that Stuart Sink didn't get the nod. He, I think, would have been the next guy up. I don't know. The problem that I have with Stuart not getting picked, with him not picking, well, I don't have a problem with it. I think the reason they didn't is I think you need somebody that has that. They need to have more of an attitude and an edge in New York. You really need to have that. You need to have somebody that is going to be fiery.
And Keegan's from up that way.
Well, and Keegan's from New England. He went to St. John's.
Yep.
Knows the golf course very well. They've played it a bunch while he was in college. I think the challenge that I see is that when you look at, I said this, did I say this last year? That we need somebody that's going to, like a Payne Stewart mentality. And I think he would have been an amazing captain at Bethpage. Payne Stewart would have walked in there literally in a American flag suit, carrying the flag in, and with red,
Hulk
white,
Hogan's music playing in the background.
And Hulk Hogan's music, or Born in the USA.
I'm a real American, just running down. That's what I mean. You're right. I think Payne would have been that.
I think Keegan gives them that in New York, where you need to have an edge. You can't have anybody that's going to be your captain in New York and not have an edge. You need to have somebody with an attitude. You need to have somebody that wants it more than anything in the world. And that was the one thing I said this last year. Our Ryder Cup team last year didn't have that. They didn't have anybody that wanted to break a door down for this country and play golf and win for this country. And,
except maybe one caddy.
Right.
But Steve, you're gonna hate this comment. You're gonna hate it. We haven't had that since Patrick Reed.
Oh God! Again, but who do you pair him with? Nobody likes Patrick Reed.
But you haven't had that intensity.
You haven't had the intensity, but you haven't had the intensity, and I will give him that. He just wanted to win. He just wanted to beat everybody's heads in. Yeah. There's stories of Payne Stewart with the, waking everybody up in the hallway with Born in the USA blaring in the hallway of the floor that they were staying on in the hotel. I need that. I need the passion. I need the dedication. And I feel like Keegan has, again, that suitcase from 2012 still isn't open. It's sitting in his closet on the floor. Give him a chance to open the thing.
What you're saying there, I think Stuart Sink has that will to win mentality, and I think he would have been a great captain, but I think he would have gone along with this. You follow these rules because that's what he's been taught over these last few years. Whereas when you're bringing in Keegan now can come on with a chip on his shoulder and say, hey, I'm here to shake this up. And I think that's why you go with Keegan. And I do think Sink should be a vice captain.
They also don't have and in Keegan, you have somebody that I feel like can get in their faces because there's still a respect level there. Whereas I don't think anyone was intimidated by Zach Johnson, and I don't think he fired anybody up. Like, I love Zach. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. But
he's 5'6".
He's 5'6". Like, hits at 300 yards, but like
5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing.
Yeah.
It's like trying to have a conversation with Mike Weir. You're looking down on them the entire time.
Right. And so I don't think that you're going to have this. I think you've got somebody that wants it. I think you got somebody that has a ton of desire and passion. And for me, I'm down for this pick. I really am. They've given him less time than they've given anybody else. I mean, this pick was made late
approved
because they made the pick late because they were waiting on Tiger. And you know what? I don't blame Tiger. I really don't. There's so much there's so many things going on that he's involved in the game of golf right now. I think that this was probably a smart pass on his part because he couldn't focus on it and dedicate to it. And do I think that 3 years from now, are we going to be naming Tiger the captain to go back over to Europe? There's a pretty good chance that happens.
Yeah, I think that's the move. I think Tiger made the right move now. And I think that this is the smart move at this location. And we'll see what happens with it. I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it shakes it up. And I think it's good for golf.
Yeah, I had seen some comments on Tiger's going to be the one in 3 years to break the curse of not winning overseas.
100%. Because he's another one that can get in players' faces and they will listen to him.
Yeah. So is Tiger going to be a vice captain?
I don't
know. I don't think you do. I think you make Sink one, but I think that's going to be Keegan's got some tough choices to make coming up here. So, I think with that, you guys ready for happy hour?
I am. I'm excited for happy hour.
I know.
I'm always happy
here, right?
Okay. Bam.
We've been talking about this since the PGA show.
Yeah.
Best in show, in my opinion, at the PGA show. Just going to say.
100%. 100%.
A lot of great stuff out there.
Except for our friends up at Teltag and their...
Well, we got friends out there, but I'm saying of innovations, this
innovations.
Takes the cake.
Yeah.
That takes the cake. So
let's bring Eliot Mello into the studio. Eliot, welcome to the Tavern, buddy. How are you?
What's shaking, guys? How we doing?
Good.
Hey,
good.
how's it
Good
going?
to see you.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen. Just been listening in the last few minutes here. Good chatter about the Ryder Cup.
Thanks. Thank you.
We're very passionate about the Ryder Cup, especially after last year.
We may dive into a name or two that were mentioned here with you here shortly in this Q&A that we've got set up with you. One of the guys that you guys have on staff there, Mr. Woods. So let's
Eliot, why don't we start by going over what's your role with Bridgestone and what do you do out there?
Yeah, so I'm in charge of all the product marketing, product management, right? So golf ball is obviously our focus, but we're full line manufacturer. We got bags, hats, the whole deal. So anything that's basically anything other than apparel, we're dabbling in. And so what that means in my role is I'm touching everything from R&D. So working on a golf ball that maybe is 4, 5, 6 years away from coming to market. Identifying consumer trends and what we need to do in the consumer front, working with tour pros to design new technologies, figuring out what's the package, what's the story that resonates with the consumers, making the fun commercials with Tiger and Freddie Couples that you all see, and then kind of working, on how do we get it into consumers' hands? Where does it go at retail, and how do we make sure our sales guys have everything they need to do to get it to the end consumer? So pretty much touching a product from idea and infancy all the way through the entirety of its life cycle.
That's not, just a little bit of job security, I guess, with all those responsibilities. So,
we stay busy for sure.
So you guys were kind of up to a lot this year with your golf ball line. PGA show, we met with you guys, and Some changes came in, and can you go over the line and kind of the benefits of the golf ball that you guys see, that you guys play, and that you guys have for not just the tour players but everyday players?
Yeah, absolutely. So in even numbered years, we launched the tour balls, and in odd numbered years, we launched the distance performance golf balls. So obviously 2024 being an even numbered year, this was a year for the Tour B series for us. Tour B is the flagship multi-layer urethane product, played by the best players in the world, played by Tiger Woods, that you just were talking about. And this is a series it's really designed around polymer science. Bridgestone, our heritage is we're the largest producer of consumer rubber products in the world, right? And so people are familiar with Bridgestone tires, and they know our golf ball too. But in total, there's 200 different Bridgestone businesses around the world making various products. And along with that, we've got 800 plus patents for the golf ball, and we've got 900 rubber engineers. And so polymer science, rubber science is really our focus. And what we did with the Tour B series, we've really perfected a term that we refer to as contact science, which is how do you optimize the moment of impact for the unique needs of each shot. So the USGA and distance and rollback, that's been a hot topic the last couple of years, right? And so to break that down for the consumer, what the USGA is really talking about is a set of conditions with one club, with the driver tested at a very specific swing speed. And so we've kind of maxed that out, and we hit that ceiling a few years ago, and we started thinking, how can we push beyond the envelope, so to speak, and play within the USGA rules on what they're testing, but then also push the performance boundaries with other clubs, with a 4-iron, with a wedge, etc., while still playing by the rules. And that's where this idea of contact science came from, which is optimizing the moment of impact for the unique needs of each shot. And so through some material changes to the cover, we have a reactive IQ cover, which is essentially a traditional urethane tour cover, but it has some impact modifiers added to it, which allow the ball to be firm and fast off the tee for maximum ball speed. But then on an iron or wedge, the material actually is softer and it has more dwell time, whereas Tiger calls it more face time. The ball stays on the face longer. And so what we're doing is we're decoupling the relationship of velocity and spin. So in a traditional golf ball, you can either hit it fast and spinny, or you can have it controlled. You don't really have the option to do both. And with this reactive IQ cover that we have on the golf ball, it allows us to have distance where we need it, and then also short game control where we need it. And so that's across all 4 of the Tour B models. And then within the Tour B models, they're all centered around ball fitting. So we've really pioneered ball fitting going back to 2006. You're playing a driver that's optimized. You've gone to your local retailer and been fit for it. You're playing shoes that fit your feet. Why wouldn't you be playing a golf ball that fits your game? And so that's what ball fitting is all about. And so within the Tour B series, we've got our Tour B X and XS, which are designed for the faster players. These are the balls that, that Tiger, Jason Day, Matt Kuchar, et cetera, those guys are playing these golf balls. They swing over 105 miles per hour. The Tour B X is a little bit more distance-oriented product. The XS has a softer cover and much more spin-oriented product around the green. And then for the players that swing under 105, us mere mortals talking here, we have the RX, which is the distance ball, and the RXS. And the RX that Greg's holding up there, that's the ball that Fred's in. And the RXS is a little bit more spin version of it. And so I think that's all, that's a great kind of example. For years, Fred Couples was playing the Tour BX kind of specification, that firmer golf ball. Then over the years, as his swing evolved, now he's playing the RX, and he, as Fred says, I found my fit and I'm booming it again. And so by getting a little bit lower compression that matches better for that swing speed under 105, easier to compress, easier to get ball speed, etc.
I just need to throw this question up here. Bradley wants to know: is Greg a mere mortal?
He traded for it, Brad. He traded for it.
Sometimes Brad.
Yeah. So Eliot, one of the things that really helped me get into this ball was the ball fitting. Can you talk about that process for a little bit? That's there on your website.
Yeah, so ball fitting comes in many forms, right? And so, when you think of the hierarchy of ball fitting, it's going to one of our live ball fitting events. So we've got technicians around the country. On bridgestonegolf.com, there's a schedule. You can kind of click on your city you live in and kind of see the schedule for your area. And the live ball fitting experience, the best way to understand it, it's the Pepsi Coke challenge of golf. So we have you hit your current golf ball on a launch monitor. We get some baseline launch data with your driver based on what our technician sees and what our proprietary software sees. We repeat the process and measure the Bridgestone golf ball against it. And so somewhere in the neighborhood of 78, 79% of the time, we can show improvement by switching to a Bridgestone golf ball. And so that's ball fitting at its highest form, is the interactive live fitting experience. And then, obviously going to an event, having an event in your area, and then B, that schedule aligning with your schedule, that doesn't work for everybody. So we have a tool on our website that takes all that data that we've done at the live ball fitting events, and it's got AI and neural net and all that stuff going on in the background, and you answer some questions about your game, and it says, all right, if this person was at a live fitting event, what ball would we most likely recommend them? And it's pulling all that data from the live ball fittings to make a recommendation. So as the consumer answers a series of questions about their swing speed, their performance preference, their trajectory, their distance, etc., it recommends a golf ball to them. And then within that functionality, we have kind of two paths. There's the simple Q&A that I just referenced, or if you've recently been to a driver fitting and you've got some launch monitor numbers, so your swing speed, your launch angle, your spin rate, etc., there's a portion on our website where you can actually enter in your real launch data, and it'll recommend a golf ball for you that way as well.
Yeah, I think within that you need a button that says, "Am I a mere mortal?"
So
Eliot, could just do like Tiger Woods or not Tiger Woods is like the intro.
Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna go with 100% of everybody else is not Tiger Woods.
Everyone's hitting "I'm Tiger Woods" just on there. They're hitting that.
Yeah.
So Eliot, I've been to some of your fittings at some of the PGA Tour events, walking around, and it's an amazing process. And I've done your fitting online too, and it recommends the same ball. I see very consistent answers in there. So do you recommend this process for everyone, from a Dave to a Tiger Woods?
Yeah, absolutely. You think about the top of the pyramid of influence, Tiger, those guys. They're constantly checking their fit, right? So you got to think anything changes, any variable in your swing changes and your setup changes, it's important to check and recheck your fit, right? So age, you just had a set of lessons and your swing changes, you change your driver setup. Heck, you cut a half inch off your driver. That's going to change the dynamics of how the shaft loads. Any of those kind of things, it's important to continue to check and recheck the golf ball. Tiger's actually a great example. For the longest time, he played the Tour B XS, the spinnier golf ball. And then kind of as he's been making this comeback the last couple of years and his bags evolved, his situations evolved, he's actually found that the Tour B X is a little bit better fit for him. So, even the greatest player of all time, it isn't necessarily stubborn and is open to making sure that they continue to have the most optimized gear.
It's funny. I tell people all the time that you get fitted for clubs. Like if you're already getting fitted for clubs and other things in your bag, the one thing people miss out on is getting fit for a golf ball, and it can really be a game changer. Because I hear people say all the time, it's just a golf ball. I go, yeah, but it's the thing you use the most. More than anything else, you're always hitting the golf ball.
On every shot, you're using the ball in every shot, and you have to have it to play, right? So you're going to go out and spend X amount of dollars on a dozen golf balls. You may as well take a couple extra minutes and make sure your money is being spent somewhere where it's the right golf ball for you.
I need to put this next question up, and I have a response to it, so I'm just letting.
So I think we all have a response to it.
And it's, what if your swing changes multiple times during the fitting? Mike, you should just take 2 weeks off and quit. That's
Get lessons and then
get
go back
lessons,
to the
Mike, how about the Eliot? I play some golf with Mike. Mike, try playing right-handed. He's left-handed, so try playing right-handed.
Good. I
I
don't know Mike's swing, but I know Mike's kind of golfer, and it's interesting because there is like this stigma, right? That like I'm not good enough to be fit, or I don't want to swing in front of the fitter because I'm going to embarrass myself, etc. But the reality is the higher your handicap, the more you can benefit from being fit, right? So a lot of times a lot of times what we see is a high handicap player. They're playing a ball that's designed to spin because the guys on TV, they work it right, they work it left, they use that spin to their advantage. But we can get them into something that's more forgiving and exponentially help their game. But it's all about taking that first step and getting into the fitting.
Eliot, I'm going to add PGA show this year. We were there. We met with your team. And you guys launched one of the most innovative additions to the golf ball in a very long time. The mindset technology. And can you tell us, I want to hear the story behind working with Jason Day to help develop this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we refer to in the industry is printed golf balls. So golf balls that have a pattern on them or some sort of ink on them that makes them not just a solid white golf ball, but has some sort of added print on them, right? And so it's definitely a category that's had momentum the last few years, and it's a category that we've known we want to participate in. But as I kind of started this conversation, Bridgestone, we're all about innovation and high performance, and we knew that in order to enter the printed category, we had to do it in a way that was authentic to us, right? We didn't want to just do another alignment thing. Because we've got data that doesn't necessarily support alignment, but then B, because we want to do something that actually helps people score better. And so we started down a path. At this point, about 4.5 years ago, we started down a path of what kind of other mental approaches, sports psychology type approaches, what else could we be doing to the golf ball to help somebody score better? And so we were kind of running down one path, studying this with our R&D team, and then simultaneous to that, Jason Day actually started playing our golf ball in a non-contract situation. So Jason actually was playing our golf ball, and there was no formal relationship. He was playing our golf ball because it performed the best for his game. And so as we got to know Jason a little bit, we kind of identified, well, Jason's doing a lot of this mental stuff that we're trying to do on the ball. We're trying to put it on a ball. Jason's doing it, but he doesn't have a visual cue on the ball, and he would like a visual cue on the ball. So let's get together and let's bring these two ideas together, right? And so that's kind of the antithesis of the mindset project. And so between Jason Day, and then he's got a performance coach that he works with, Jason Goldsmith, who works with a number of other pros and also works with athletes in other sports that really are all about focusing in and allowing your body to kind of separate analytical thought from athletic thought, right? And so that's what the science behind mindset is. And so mindset is all about how do I, without getting overly scientific here, it's how do I use the portion of my brain that is really good at analyzing something to do that. Like I'm analyzing the break of a putt or the speed of the green, and how am I analyzing the setup to the shot? And then how do I turn that noise off and flip on my athletic side of my brain, the athletic side of the brain allowing me to hit the shot. And so that's kind of what's happening in your brain when you properly do the mindset process. It's very much like, we're all on devices, we're on computers, we're on phones talking right now, and on the internet, right? If we got too many browser windows open, the call is going to get fuzzy, right? Because the bandwidth gets spread thin. The same thing's happening with your body when you're playing golf. If you've got too many different things going on, you're not going to be able to fully execute your shot. If you're worried about the double bogey you just made, and you're worried about impressing the cart girl who's out in the fairway, and you got all these distractions going on, you're never going to fully execute the right swing. And so by going through the 3 steps of the mindset process, it allows you to get in the zone and fully perform to your top of your ability, essentially.
Hey, Eliot, before we go any further, Greg, sorry. One of the questions that came in, can you order a specific number on the ball? Like if you wanted 71 as his number, you guys have the ability to do that?
We do not have the ability to do that. Our manufacturing process is highly patented and unique to Bridgestone. And so the way that we manufacture the balls, we can essentially only do them play numbers 1 through 4 at this point in time. But I do appreciate the question. We keep a log of all those questions. So when I get to the office tomorrow, I'll tack another tally up for that question, and maybe someday we'll get there.
Yeah. So with mindset, with technology, it's broken down into, like you said, 3 steps that's on there. And I mean, the steps are identify, visualize, and focus. And I love that in the box, you get that to kind of remind you as you're seeing it. So is Jason Day's process a 3-step process, or was it more involved to utilize the technology? How did this come about from Jason Day to this 3-step process?
So Jason Day's process is slightly more involved, as you might imagine. And working with Jason and then working with performance coach Jason Goldsmith, we kind of took Jason's process. We took that. We also worked with consumers, and we kind of said, how do we boil down this thing that, I mean, Jason used this process to be world number 1 a few years ago, right? And so how do we take that complex thing of someone whose job it is to be a golfer and does this 24/7, and how do we take it into something that somebody could take to the first tee box with them and kind of learn in a few minutes and get going? And that's kind of how the process came to be. And so to your point, you know, we're kind of identifying our target. We're looking at that outer circle, the red circle, and we're identifying our target. You know, is it a specific tree limb we're looking at? Is it a blade of grass on a breaking putt? What are we looking at in terms of identifying the target? We're looking back at that golf ball. We're looking at the yellow circle, and then we're identifying the shot. And so we look at the yellow circle, then we kind of look to our left for a right-handed player. We look to our left and kind of envision that golf ball, you know, breaking end over end into the hole. And that's the part at which your mind starts to shift from analytical to athletic. And then when we look back at the golf ball, you look back at the ball, maybe you take a deep breath, you're looking at the green dot, and boom, athleticism is taken over and everything else is quiet. And your natural athletic self kind of takes over and executes the swing.
I love this comment. I got to put in there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect.
We will recommend this golf ball to everybody. We all.
Yeah. And with that kind of leads me, you know, into my next question here. You know, we love the mindset, you know, technology here. You know, for years, you know, I love playing this ball right now. For years, I had a grab bag of balls, you know, in my bag, and I'm the kind of guy, oh, look, I found a ball out on the course. I'm going to play this now. And I texted these two the other day when I was playing.
Or you let them out of my bag. You would do that too.
Yeah, that too. I didn't have any in my Sunday walking bag, and I was just playing a grab bag, and I could start telling the difference when I didn't have my mindset balls, you know, with me. But with the technology and everything, you only put it on the tour series of lines. Was there any thought of putting it on like your E series, or is that something maybe down the road that Bridgestone would look at as well too?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So, you know, we started with the Tour line for a few reasons. Jason plays Tour BX, so starting with the Tour line made sense. And then it also that was what we were launching this year when the technology was ready. So that's kind of why we started with the Tour line. And then, like everything, I mean, we continue to study consumers and continue to study the marketplace. The thing that, you know, we just actually completed a fairly large consumer test with players from low single digits, you know, up to like 30 handicaps and everywhere in between. And they played a number of rounds with their golf ball and then a number of rounds with our golf ball with mindset. And, you know, we tracked all the data, Gen handicap system, et cetera. And pretty eye-opening, actually, that of all these consumers we tested on course, 80% of consumers showed an improvement when using mindset. And on average, they were nearly 3 strokes better per round with mindset. So it definitely resonates with consumers. And within that test, we actually saw that the higher your handicap, the more mindset helped you. So we're definitely looking at kind of what's the next move for mindset. You know, is it marketing more of the RXS line, which is kind of more of the consumer golf balls? Is it coming out with new golf balls with mindset? I can't say definitively what the future holds, but we definitely know that it's resonating better with the recreational player than the pro player.
I just need to put this up. You've already addressed this comment. Are these balls for a more low handicap player? I'm still learning, so I'm using a softball. Should I switch up? Bill, he literally just said, you know, the higher handicaps it's resonating more with. I would go to their website, and this is just my recommendation. Head over to the bridgestonegolf.com and get fit and see which one you fit in and try it and just see how it can help you. I'm just going to leave it at that because I myself am a low handicap player, and I have found improvement in my game in switching to it. So,
I mean, it works for, don't get me wrong, it works for all handicaps. So, like, you know, we were talking about Jason. He was using this process but didn't have the marking. And now that he has the mindset mark, I mean, like it's like every other week he'll text us. He's like, you guys better keep making this. Like, don't discontinue this. I'm addicted now.
Yeah.
I'm going to start texting you that. So
yeah. Elliot, you'll get text
from me too.
So I was up at John Deere at the Classic on Friday, and they had one of the putting areas you could putt with a mini excavator that had a putter head on it, and they were using a giant Bridgestone golf ball. And all I thought to myself was, wonder if these guys would putt better if this had a Mindset logo on this would help them get it into the cup.
There you go.
So Eliot, you were talking about testing with all handicapped players, and I love using the marking myself. It's my impact point. Anytime I can put my hand on the golf ball, I'm lining it up, and that's where I'm trying to focus to hit. And I know that I'm hitting the ball further because I'm making better contact because I'm focusing on that point. Have you seen data on distance gains as you've gone through this testing with these other players?
Yeah, so our data, we've done a couple different tests, right? So generally speaking, distance off of the tee, people are picking up 5-7 yards, somewhere in that neighborhood, as a result of increased smash factor. So more efficient transfer from swing speed to ball velocity. So hitting the ball more centered in the face is essentially where we're seeing the increases. And, anecdotally, I would equate that to if you're more focused, you're making a more solid swing, you're making more solid contact. That's where the extra ball speed's coming from. So definitely picking up distance off the tee, around the green, somewhere in the neighborhood of, we tested all kinds of different putts. What was interesting is almost every amateur we gave the ball to, we have like our testing protocol. We're going to test it 4 feet, 7 feet, 10 feet, 14 feet, whatever the numbers were. And almost everyone we gave it to, they're like, I want to start at 10 feet. So like 10 foot became like this number for amateurs. Like, I want to make a 10-foot putt. I want to test at 10 feet. So anyway, at 10 feet, the make percentage went up by about 30% with Mindset versus traditional golf ball. So definitely longer off the tee, and then definitely in the hole more frequently when putting as well.
So with that, Eliot, I mean, I love it for putting. I will tell you that. Like, my dad plays with a guy, and he always used to say, see the tack when you're putting. Like, hit the tack on there. And as soon as I saw that green dot on there, that's the first thing I thought of. And I played with him a few weeks ago, and I told him I was using these golf balls. I said, hey, remember how you say see the tack? I said, I actually have that mark now. And that's my strike point when I putt. It gives a perfect alignment. And the thing that I like about the Mindset technology is just that. I now align my ball. I take a few steps back. I look at the red line to see, is it lined up? Then I identify, then I visualize with the yellow, and then I hit the green dot. And that's the way that I putt. And I've seen that improvement. And I like that you're saying that you've seen this improvement in people and they want to make 10-foot putts and everything. But my putting wasn't terrible before this. I was a good putter, but it's gotten even better because of this. So how are you marketing that now with that? And you said you see improvements in these tests that are out there. How do you move forward and keep that word out there for people?
Yes, I mean, that was kind of the big thing with this latest consumer test that we did is, unfortunately over the years, the idea of like, oh, you picked up 10 yards and the idea of companies marketing 10 yards longer, it's just been diluted, right? Because if you added all that together, 2,000-yard drives. So that idea has been diluted. So we knew from the gate that we couldn't really use that with Mindset. So that's kind of why we conducted this latest consumer test around kind of strokes gained and performance gained on course. And so now that we know that over 80% of consumers gain nearly 3-stroke advantage when using Mindset, we started rolling that out about a week ago and some social media stuff. And so you'll see it start to be more prominent across all of our advertising and all of our messaging, kind of as we reach the recreational player.
Nice.
Well, I can tell you, Eliot, that I'll be honest with you. After the PGA show, I had to eat a little crow. I'm not someone who likes to use an alignment.
A little?
I'm that guy that as Scotty Scheffler found out a few months ago, he likes to look at the blank side of the golf ball when he putts. And I was trying to use it as an alignment line and putting the marking on top. And when I moved it to the back, everything changed for me, and it was so much better. So I did have to eat a little crow because in the beginning I was like, not for me. Oh no, it's definitely for me, 100%. I'm so glad I'm using it. So thank you.
It's been a game changer. Like, this is the only golf ball that I'm using now. It's because it does what it says. It's not like you can put a line on a golf ball and you can see kind of that. It just helps you line it up. But this mentally helps you focus on your stroke. Like, it really does. And now I have a routine and everything that goes through this, and it makes all the difference.
And I will tell you, I play in the WAGC golf events, World Amateur Golf Championship events. I play with another buddy of mine who's a social media influencer here in Orlando. He has switched the golf ball, and after one event, when I was talking about the golf ball, the next event, 4 other players were using it.
Nice.
Because they literally, I played with one of them. We started talking about it. She, her husband, and her son all switched to it immediately because of what they found from it. So it's literally one of those things that when you talk to somebody about it, you're like, this is so good and it's so simple. Just let it happen, and you're going to become a better player.
I think the 3 of us have all found a passion behind this ball. And, we're really sharing
100%.
our passion with it, with other people that we're meeting out on the golf course. And, kind of like some of our custom clubs we have, it's a different looking ball. And when people start seeing it, they start asking questions about it. And then, we go into the standard spiel.
Well, and that's been the thing is I was talking to a buddy who's a teaching pro, and I was showing him about this because he was using the Bridgestone ball. And I said, oh, have you tried the Mindset yet? And we were literally on, I think that was like the 4th hole, and I had a putt for birdie. And I said, oh, this is what I do. I line it up. Went through my routine, and I sank the putt, not even thinking about it, just because I was going through it. I was like, oh, thank God. I was trying to brag about this golf ball. Thank God I hit that putt. It's just a great tool that it's so simple in its look, and it's different than anything else that once you start telling people about it, they're like, oh, I never thought about that. It's kind of like what we did to Steve when we saw this at the show. We were like, Dave and I were like, oh, that's interesting. And Steve's like, I don't like alignment aids. And once he sees the results, now none of us want to use any other golf ball. So we're going to keep texting you like Jason, like, you better not take this off the shelf.
I'm going to ask this. I'm going to throw this one up there, Eliot. It's a question that came in. One last question before I let you go here. If golfers are switching to a Mindset ball, what type of ball are they leaving?
Well, I mean, I think from what we see, they're leaving a traditional solid white golf ball, or they're leaving a golf ball with alignment on it, right? And so, I mean, I think a golfer in general, someone who comes to Mindset is someone who sees the benefits of an enhanced pre-shot routine. Everyone's got a pre-shot routine of some kind, but this really gives a scientific backed pre-shot routine that allows you to really focus, allows you to use your brain in a way that you didn't even know was possible. And it doesn't really take, it doesn't take years of training to do it like all these pros have to do. It's just, we've built all the steps, the easy steps for you there, like Greg was just saying.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Well, Eliot, thanks for taking time out of your schedule and joining us here tonight. We missed you at the show this year. Hopefully I catch up next year at the show, and we'll keep singing the praises of Mindset. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Hey, Eliot, before I let you go, John Duvall wanted me to say hi to you tonight. I was talking to him yesterday, and I told him you were coming on, and he wanted me to say hi and said he missed you at the show this year. So we'll see you in January. We'll see you in January. Was
that your social media influencer that you referenced?
No, that's not. His name's actually Hayden Boutwell. He's the Orlando golfer. So that's who it is. So yeah, no, but John's a good friend of mine. I'm actually supposed to play golf with him this weekend. Hey, Mike actually runs the WAGC events. Hey, Mike, can you put us in the same group on Sunday? That'd be great. Thanks. All right.
Cheers,
Eliot. Thank you.
Cheers. So, I mean, that's what the Mindset does. It's a great golf ball. I mean, it's one that we found at the show that we've had a passion behind that we now tell people about, and it's not something we just try to promote. Dave? Yes, it does. It's not something we just try to promote.
Scott wants virtual Dave back. Mike, money. Yeah. Okay.
It's not something we try to promote. I mean, I don't want to go to a different golf ball, and if I wanted a different golf ball, I want that mindset stamped on the side of it because
Correct.
it is a game changer. Like if I saw a box of Bridgestone, I'd buy them because I like the golf ball. But if it doesn't have, I'm gonna be like, I'll wait till I can get a mindset. On it. So I think with that, Steve, we segue into the smack of the week.
Yes. All right, I'm going to make this one quick. This is somebody that doesn't use mindset. I can guarantee you. And all I'm going to preface this by saying is, ouch. Hold on. Let me see that again.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's the wrong type of focus.
Hey, Dave, I'm just going to ask, can you recreate that for us?
No,
I have never once done that in my life.
I
may have had a golf ball bounce back off me after a bridge, but no.
Okay. All right.
You guys know what I got here?
Yeah, do we have the unboxing intro or no?
We do.
We do.
So last week was the 4th of July, and I went to a Canadian website.
No, they have a Canadian website.
But
they have
our
a Canadian
friends at
website,
Dormy.
but
I'll give
you
a
are actually on the
shout
U.S.
out
website.
I was on the U.S. website, but it's a Canadian company. And so, cheers to our friends up north. There you go.
Speaking of friends up north,
I will say this. Where is this comment that I saw earlier?
There's this one.
No, not that one.
Not that one. Oh, I know which one you're going to. This one is your.
There it is. There it is. I'm not gonna insult
Craig.
Canadian.
I was not trying to insult anyone from the north. You are my favorite people in the world.
So
Okay, I'll leave it
with
at
that, I saw this on their site. I had to have it. I called up our friends at Dormy and said, just shut up and take my money. And I had to order it from them. So I'm going to unbox this. I had to go full blown America.
You had to go America.
Look at this.
Nice.
This isn't even on the website. Look at that inside.
Yeah, the liner. That liner's legit. That's the same liner I have in the baseball glove cover.
Ryan and Jeff and all the guys out at Dormy. This is unbelievable. And thank you for their shipping was amazing on this. So, I mean, I think I paid yesterday and I got it today. So thank you. Amazing. Oh, even in that, look at this. Magnetic. Steve, you know you're jealous.
A little bit, but I have the baseball. I do have the baseball glove cover. So
I saw the baseball.
Dave, I want to know what happened on 2 at Shingle. That's all I want to know.
I want to know what happened on 2 at Shingle too. That's Chad. He's a member of the Hawkeye Cup. Chad, I have no clue what happened on number 2. So
wow. All right. With that, Dormy, check them out. Awesome stuff on there. Special edition.
When was the last time we had 2 guys named Davis win on the PGA Tour? And I don't mean Davis Love winning more than one event in a year. And the answer is I can't think of it, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But now we've had Davis Riley and Davis Thompson both win, and both of them are...
I think the best comment was Dave is anyone that's staying in the party house the John Deere, they have won 3 years in a row, people. There's something about that.
You know what? Hey, next year, we don't need to remember that.
And Davis he said he stayed in Sepp's room that Sepp had last year.
So that's the room too. Like
That's the room.
So we just need to know who's staying in that house, and that's who we need to pick.
Yeah.
Or do we rent that house and we go out there and just party?
I'm gonna guess the price of that house has gone up for that
100%.
week. 100%. If I own that house, the cost is going.
You want to win?
The winner's coming from it. Yeah.
You want to win? This is what it cost you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But unbelievable event this week, Dave. You already talked about it. You were out there.
Yep.
Yeah. A birdie fest, but it was a fun birdie fest to watch. It was everyone playing well out there.
But I tell you what, like walking out there and through the rough, you got into some of the heavy stuff out there, and you had to just hack it out and hope for the best.
Well, Davis on Saturday hit a ball left on 17 into the trees, and then hit a ball left again and left himself this 110-yard really weird shot and hit it to 5 feet and made birdie. And I was like,
yeah,
you're going to win a golf tournament. That was a hole that wins a golf tournament. There's a lot of criticism online for the PGA Tour by a lot of people that I follow about the way they set up golf courses for birdie fests. And they feel like the only true golf tournament is like Bay Hill. They even criticized TPC this year, and TPC got a bad rap this year because of the weather, and you can't control Mother Nature. You really can't. But I think that there's a lot to be said coming off of a major, or coming off the U.S. Open, and not having these guys play this grueling test of golf. Like, let them have some fun. And I don't mind, again, at the end of the day, I don't want to watch these guys play like the rest of us. I want to watch these guys shoot 20, 25 under and make a boatload of birdies because they're that good. And people just don't realize that's how good these guys really are.
And I want to watch that in a major, but I don't want to watch it at this. This is what I want to see at this tournament.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I want to see, they had 15 of the top 50 players in the world at this tournament. This tournament has produced 23 first-time winners. Out of those 23 first-time winners, I think 14 of them were back this year as well, too. Like, guys love going to this tournament. It's a great event. Greg, you and I have played it. Yeah, it can be a birdie fest, but if you're off, the course will hurt you.
That's true. The homeowner should get 5%. But Dave, you're right. This is a course that, like,
hey,
Steve,
Tom.
You mentioned Bay Hill.
Tom, thank you.
Steve, you mentioned Bay Hill. Dave and I have both played Bay Hill, and we've both played this course. And to be honest, you can set both courses up to be just as hard as the other. Yeah. Like, they're very similar in ways, in how they're laid out, but they're just fun golf courses. And to be honest, the John Deere, I like the birdie fest. I like that. I don't want to see this.
I don't mind it.
I want to see them play their best and not make it extremely hard like the U.S. Open. And at the U.S. Open, I want to see that. So, all right. Let's get into next week. Dave, you're up. In the words of Sam Eagle, you have a minute and a half.
Yeah. So the event before the event. Great field coming into the Scottish Open here this week. We're leading the way with Rory at 7.5, Xander at 8.5, Ludwig at 16, Colin at 16, Tommy Fleetwood at 22, or Tommy Fleetwood at 20, Victor Hovland at 22, Minwoo Lee at 28, Tom Kim at 30, and JT and Hideki, Matt Fitzpatrick at 35.
Hey, I gotta give you credit. You didn't butcher any of their names.
No, that's why I went with first names only.
He knew his time limit. So, I mean, I got first pick here. So, I'm taking
Rory.
Write it down. I can't not take it to Scottish.
Dave, I'm going to ask, where's Eric Cole this week?
Good. That's a good question.
Because he's riding a heater right now. He's done everything.
Max Homa way too high at 60-1.
Eric Cole's below 60-1.
Eric Cole 110-1.
Yep, I'm going to go with Xander.
Okay.
Dave?
And I'm going off the beaten track here. I'm going back to a horse I've picked a lot here in the past. Tommy Fleetwood.
There you go. I like it.
There we go. I look at that.
All right. I think with that, folks, great show tonight. Looking
Yes.
forward
Thank
to
you,
Scottish Open.
Bridgestone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Eliot, for joining
Bridgestone.
us. Thank you, Bridgestone.
I'm really fortunate, man. I mean, having an opportunity to build something that's
It has gone viral on our TikTok. That somebody was commenting about playing with